Hi everyone! Today we are going to be dividing decimals. Last week we were multiplying decimals. This week we're going to start dividing decimals and then mixing it all together. So this is an I do, we do, you do. I'm going to do the first one, we'll do the second one together, and then the you do, you're going to do on your own, and you're actually going to be checking it with me at the next station. So make sure you're doing your best work on those you do's. All right, so let's start with the I do. 4 divided by 29.6. So something that I've heard before is that when we take the decimal, we rocket it up. Rocket it up from wherever it is, and there's my new decimal place. So I'm going to rocket it up, and now it's just a division problem. So I'm going to take 4. Can 4 go into 2? I don't think so. Now I'm going to ask, can 4 go into 29? And yeah, 4 can go into 29 at least 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. And I will subtract those two. 29 minus 28 leaves me with 1. I will drop down the 6, and then I'll ask myself, can 4 go into 16? Yes, it can. It can go in 4 times. So I'll put that up at the top. 4 times 4 is 16, and I subtract them to get exactly 0. So my answer would be 7.4. Note, there is no ish on these problems. When we're asking you to divide the decimals, you're not going to stop at 2 decimal places. You're going to actually have to find out exactly what it would be when we're dividing. Okay, so that's 7.4. All right, this next one, this we do. So I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try this one on your own. See how far you can get, and then we'll come back and we'll check it together. So make sure you pause the video and try this one now. All right, so for this one, I took my decimal, rocketed up, and I'm going to ask myself, can 7 go into 6? If it can't, make sure you put a 0 placeholder there in front of that decimal. Please make sure you put that 0 in front. I want it to help us keep organized and make sure we remember that that decimal's there. All right, so 7 can't go into 6, but 7 can go into 64. And how many times can that happen? Well, 7 can go into 64 9 times. 9 times 7 is 63. I'll go ahead and subtract those. That gives me 1. Drop the 4 down. 7 goes into 14 exactly twice. 7 times 4 is 14. I'm left with a remainder of 0. So my answer is 0.92. Okay, hopefully those two went well for you. I want you to try this next one. So pause the video and you do this one. Make sure you have done your best work, because I will be grading those at the next station. All right, so now I'm on the I do section below, and it says 0.5 divided by 3.25 divided by 0.5. So in these situations, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be taking the decimal that's over here on the left side and moving it 1 place. So if we scoop like we did with multiplying, we're going to have to scoop over here and then rocket it up. So now my new problem is really 5 divided by 32.5 when I rocket up this decimal. So do you see how I moved that? It was 0.5, now it just became 5. And I like rewriting it like that because it helps me see the problem a little bit easier. And now it's just a regular dividing problem. So 5 goes into 3. Nope. 5 goes into 32. Yes, it does. It goes in 6 times. That's 30. I make my subtraction. 32 minus 30 is 2. Drop down my 5. 5 goes into 25. Exactly 5 times. So my answer is 6.5. Okay, so really all this new part was saying is it's on the left-hand side. If you have decimals over there, you are going to have to scoop them and then scoop it on the other side as well. Then you can rocket it up. All right, so you need to pause the video. You need to try this one, and then we'll come back together and we'll talk about it. Okay, so hopefully you scooped. Hopefully you saw that when I did scoop here, I had to move this one over 1 as well. So now my new problem would be have the 24 over here and the divided by 168 rocket up my decimal after the 8. So then I'm going to ask myself, can 24 go into 1? Nope. Can 24 go into 16? Nope. Can 24 go into 168? Probably, but I'm going to have to figure out how many times. So over on this side, I was starting to figure out how many times 24 could go into 168, and I was just trying things. So 24 times 5, 24 times 6, 24 times 7. When I took 24 times 7, 7 times 4 is 8, carry the 2. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 2 is 168. Hip, hip, hooray, I got it. So I can put a 7 here. 168, and I have no remainders. So my answer is 7.0, which is really just 7. Okay, hopefully that went well for you. I want you to do the you do part, please. So you do the you do part, and then flip it over, and I will work with you on the back. All right, so on the back, we have problems that don't have that division sign written in them. They do, they have the symbol, but they don't have the long division sign written in them. So we're gonna have to write that symbol. So if you notice the first one, 0.234 divided by 0.78. I wrote the numerator and I wrote the denominator for you. And if we wanted to rewrite this as a fraction, we'd have 0.234 divided by 0.78. I know that some of you have heard, oh, the biggest goes here, the smallest goes on the outside. That's not the case in 6th grade anymore. So you have to be really careful. So when I have my numerator and my numerator is always going to be the one that goes on the inside, and my denominator is the one that goes on the outside. We did talk about a little trick, making that L here as a reminder for which one stays on the inside and which one is going on the outside. That's fine if you want to do that, but you are going to have to think about which one goes where when it's written out like this, okay? So just kind of be practicing, okay, my numerator goes on the inside, my denominator here goes on the outside. It's not a which one's biggest and smallest, denominator outside, numerator here goes on the inside here. Okay, and now it's just a division that we have been doing. So I'm going to move the decimal place over 2. I'm going to move the decimal place over 2 and rocket it up. So my new problem would be 78 divided by 23.4, rocket it up. And now I can do this division. 78 doesn't go into 23, so I'm going to have to put that 0 as a place value holder in front. And then I'm going to say, how many times can 78 go into 234? Well, geez, I'm not sure. So I'm going to just have to try something. 78 times what would go into 234? And I actually just paused the video over here on my side and tried it. And I saw that if I do 3 times, it'll go in exactly 234. So subtract, and I get 0. So my answer would be 0.3. All right, on the we do part, I want you to try to set it up. So pause your video and set it up and see if we can match. Okay, hopefully yours matched like this. Good. Now we got to scoop. So scoop it over 2, scoop it over 2, and rocket it up. So my new problem is 17 divided by 563.72. Rocket that straight up. All right, I want you to pause the video and I want you to try to do this problem, and then we'll come back together and check. All right, this one did take me a little bit of extra work, but I found out that my answer would be 33.12. You can try to kind of follow along. I did have to do some work over here to see how many times 17 could go into some of these bigger numbers that I wasn't sure. Okay. So now that we've got that, again, you can pause the video and take a look back at this. And otherwise, you are going to do the you do section. Make sure you have this ready for me to check. And then once you're done with that, you can work on the challenge question below and see if you can get it. I'm going to be giving some bonuses for those who can do the challenge question at my station. All right, thanks guys.